Okay. So just a quick recap. I just want to go ahead with the previous days one so that no issue for everyone. Okay. So we started SQL and we segregated the SQLs with the 5 parts of the SQL. So just I want to recap these things once more time. I mean, all the 5 parts has been covered in last working day.
Hmm.
Uh, the first thing is called DDL. DDL is data definition language. SQL is just it's a language to do any kind of operation on relational database. Okay, it's called structured query language. Inside that, the first segmentation is DDL, that is called data definition language. By the DDL languages, we'll able to do any kind of structural, uh, I mean, table creation, table deletion, structural changes in the table can be done through DDL languages. So all those keyword can be used for each of the activity: create, drop, alter, trunc. DML is data manipulation language. Over there, we learned how to insert data. In DDL, we can go ahead, we can do the things on top of table structure. In DML, we can go ahead with data inside the table. So what we can do, we can just go ahead with insertion, update, delete, all those kind of record related stuff. That's mean the row kind of things. Whatever row I want to insert, whatever row I want to delete, any existing row I want to update, all the things can be done by the DML languages. After that, we have learned DQL. DQL is just how we will be visualizing the data inside the table. Especially the select query has been used with inside the select query. We have used this thing by lots of ways. Just like we have aggregated, we used aggregation functions. We use order by functions. They should be sorting the data. Apart from that, we use various functions on top of each columns. We have created some derived columns on based on the existing columns. Okay, so all those kind of things we have learned inside the DQL. It is one of the most important thing. We also learned some new shortcuts how to create a new table based on an existing table. That thing we have learned on top of DQL, as well as the combination of DDL and DQL. Okay. After that, we have learned DCL and TCL. It's very short session. TCL is a bit useful for the developers or support person on top of data, but DCL is totally it's a part of DBA team. So database administrator, they can grant any access, they can revoke anyone's access for a big company. So that is why it's totally dependent, or totally the activities mainly supposed to be done by the DBS team, database administrator. But just a quick, introduction on top of that and quick coverage on top of that, how that can be worked. It can be worked by these two keywords only. So that is also been covered in last session. Okay, so this is the overall SQL stuffs, but we have just gone through it very basics as well as a bit intermediate part. So by this exercise, or I'll be giving some more exercises in the future sessions and all. So there we can clear our doubt with some hard problems on top of that, how to solve it and all. Okay, okay. So it's all about the session on top of SQL, on top of table. Okay. In the beginning of the session, if you can remember, I told in the database elements, there is not only, there's lots of database components. It's not only table, a single table. There are other database components available as well. Let me open my SQL page.
Yeah, this is where my password is not working. I mean, this is the stage from which I'm not able to go forward.
You're using the same password, correct?
Yeah, I'm using the same password. Like it says, could not connect to the root account. In bracket, it says due to password, like comment and yes. There are some three other reasons.
Okay. So let's check quickly after this meeting. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So this is our database that we have practiced till date. So if we just open one of the database schema, we can see tables are available. Okay. Those are all table. There are lots of other things as well. Views, store procedures, functions. Functions we already work with the existing function. There we can also create some user defined functions as well, but I'll not be going through with function creation. I'll be just going through with few of the things on top of views, store procedures. What are views? What are store procedures? Table is the main small unit of relational database. That is fine. But on top of table, on top of multiple tables, we can create views. On top of that, on top of various tables, various views, we can create store procedures as well. So how that should work? Those are very important thing. When we are live in a project, then we can see there are lots of views are being used. But what is view? Okay, let's see. So as I mentioned that one or multiple table can be used to create a particular view. Okay, in the drop down section, I can see one view is there. So what is this view? Okay, it's nothing but how to check the view. Let me show one more thing. So one of the table, there are lots of tables that are available over here. I want to see what is the definition of the table. I can just put a select star from of this table. That is fine. Otherwise, what I can do, I can just select on that. I can also check the thing over here, or I can just simply do a right click on top of this. Then uh, we can just go to send to SQL editor. You can go ahead to DDL statement, create statement. Okay. So I can get my create statement of the table. Okay. So this is the DDL I have entered. Not exactly the same. We did not mention this thing. This is what is the backend engine for SQL Server. It's InnoDB. Actually, we just no need to learn from this perspective. If we just learn only this thing, our table will be created. But by default, it should be there for each of the DDL. They're mentioning the engine, the character set, UTF-8, okay, collet. So this kind of parameters, they will be tagging it. It should be same for all the table. If you just go ahead with each of the tables, you can see for employee designation, I'm just checking it. Send to SQL editor, create statement. Yes, starting from here. Okay. So employee designation, employee ID designation. The same thing is there for every individual, every individual. Uh, SQL queries of create statement. Okay. Removing this part. Similar kind of stuff. One view is created over here. I can check the view's definition by the same way. Right click on this, send to SQL editor, check create statement of the view. So what is the views create statement? Okay, this thing is no more. That thing is also the same thing. I haven't put this thing while creation of this view. That should be automatically created. So I just, the particular username, the particular server name where it's located. So those kind of stuff should be automatically generated over here. Okay, and the main definition of the view is mentioned over here. SQL security definer view. This is the view name employee join as select star. Whatever logic I have put, it's mentioned over here. Starting from select, from this table, I'm joining with another table, the same joining clause. I have joined between two different table. If you can remember employee designation and employee detail. The same joining condition is mentioned over here. So I do not have to do this kind of joins daily basis. I can directly put a select star from employee join. It should be running. Let me show you with an example. I'm creating a new view. Okay. So let's do a select star from employee. Okay, so this is my employee table. I want to put some filter on top of that, just like what we have covered in the second day, where uh, department in IT BPO. Okay, so I just segregated this thing. Now I don't want to put this kind of query daily basis. I'm just saving this information. I just only need IT and BPO information. So I'm just creating a view. It's the creation of view, create or replace. We can put anything. Create or replace means if there is already existing view with the same naming convention, we can replace it. It can be applicable for table as well. Okay. Create view as select. I can put the entire thing. I'm creating this view inside that view. Okay, create view name. I missed view name. Let me put employee IT BPO. Okay. Create view name as select star from the entire logic. I want to put inside a view. Okay. The view is created as we didn't get any error. Let me refresh it. Yes, I can see this is the view. Let me select the view now. I'll not be putting any filter or anything. Select star from this view. Okay, so I can see this data set is available over here. Whatever I have checked with the where clause. So what I'm doing, it's very small, a very simple example. I'm just providing it to you. But if we have large queries to be execute daily basis, select star from this with joining some other table, we join some other table, lots of filters, lots of aggregation functions. In a single SQL query, we have lots of operation, but I want to skip or I want to write the same SQL query daily basis. Without doing that, I can, if the query is very, uh, useful, or we can reuse this thing, reuse the data set again and again. So we can create a view on top of this SQL query, the big SQL query can create a particular view. Suppose this view I've created. Okay. I can create this kind of thing. And then inside this view, the logic will be embedded. The particular select logic will be embedded inside that view. So now I can utilize this view as a table. Okay, so I can put this kind of thing. Even I can put a filter on top of that. I can put some aggregation functions on top of that. It should be working as a table, but it is a view. Okay. One more important thing, view will not contain the data. Over here, employee table is containing the data. In the backend, where the employee is being stored in my database, you can see some size has been involved as per the size of the table of employee. But the view will not, the size of view is null. It will only contain the logic inside it. So when I'll be firing a view, it will there will be no data inside the view. As I mentioned, it will fire the backend query of the tables and it will throw us the output. Okay, so view can be used similar kind of logics as table, but view itself doesn't contain any data. The backend logic, it should be only having the backend logic of the different DQL statements and all, and it will give us the proper output. Did you get it, part? How view, what is the view and all? Then it
Yes.
can be asking questions, difference between views and tables.
Okay.
Okay, so views. I mean, lots of tables with considering lots of tables, putting lots of logics, especially for the DQL. If the query is reused daily basis, I do not have to put all the 10 liners code daily basis over here. Rather, I can embed that 10 liners code inside a view and I can just do a select star from this view. Okay, this is the usefulness of the view. And if you want to check the definition of the view, you can select directly check it. If you want to alter the definition of the view, you can also do this thing. Okay, so this is the how the view should work. The next thing is store procedure. It's also very important, especially used for them in some high levels. Store procedures. Store procedures can be found inside this store procedures tab. So similar kind of, as I mentioned, we can create view with multiple tables, single table or multiple table, the same kind of thing, not exactly same. Store procedures can be used if we have lots of SQL queries in my hand that to be executed maybe parallelly, maybe sequentially, daily basis. Okay, daily basis or maybe hourly basis. So I just want to mention a bunch of SQL query or lots of SQL query I want to run sequentially one by one without any error. I mean, there should not be any issue while running the thing. If this is the scenario, if that thing is putting, we can put semicolon for each of the sequence, then they will execute the same thing by sequence by sequence. Let me show you how that thing should be. Okay, employee new is there. There's 3 store procedures are I already created in the last session. Let me show you. Okay, create store procedure. Let me just click alter store procedures. I can check it. Yes. So for creation of the store procedures, this is the first statement. This is the end statement. Okay. Begin statement should be also there. Begin and end. Within that, I need to create my statements, putting semicolon for each of the ending of the statement. Okay. So I have created one store procedures called employee new. After creation of this, it should be an open brace and close brace. Then begin statement should be there, end statement should be there. Inside that, I have to put all the SQL queries that I want to run with a particular sequence. Okay, so I just create a table from employee. I'm deleting from employee table, means I'm deleting all the records from here. It's only 2 statements I'm writing. Maybe there are lots of test statements are available. Maybe 10 test statements, maybe hundreds of statements are available. I just need to run them. If I want to trigger them one by one, it should be very much, longer time it should take. So everything, all the SQL queries are embedded in a single store procedures. Now I just have to trigger the store procedures. Okay. So when we'll be triggering the store procedure, I can just directly right click on this and I can run this. Send to SQL editor, procedure call. I have to call the store procedures. When I'll be calling it, the sequential statement will be triggering at the backend and give us the proper output. So this is the thing of store procedure. Did you all to got it?
Yes.
Okay. So you'll be creating one more store procedures while solving out exercises and okay. One more thing I just want to go indexing. There's lots of actually of things are available in database objects. Those are the basic things. The basic thing is table. That I already mentioned. Views. There is also materialized views. It's a bit advanced thing. So the difference between materialized views and views is, as I mentioned, view will not contain the data. Okay, view will only contain the logic. Materialized view will contain the data. Okay, so whatever logic you are putting over there, it will extract the data, and materialized view will, save the data inside it. Okay, so that is the purpose of materialized data. Store procedures I have mentioned. Indexing. What is indexing? So if we have large tables, in our examples, we have hardly 10 to 20 columns over here, 10 to 20 rows over here. But in our real-time scenario, you can see the transactional table. Maybe I'm storing some transactional data. So those tables should contain, uh, more than lakhs or more than million records are available over there. Okay, and daily basis you can also see daily basis millions of records are getting inserted. So so the frequency of tables or the frequency of loading of the tables is very high. There is lots of tables, the lots of records are there. So for this scenario, if we just put a simple select query on top of table, you can see it is taking much, it's taking very, very long time. And some days when the records are getting increased and increased, when the records are getting increasing, then that time we can see sometimes while we are firing the SQL query with the select statements, we can get some timeout error. We did not get any output and we are getting a timeout error over there. So for this kind of scenario, we can use this indexing part. Indexing, as per in a particular book, if I want to go to a particular page and all, a particular topic, I can see the what is the page number for that particular topic from indexing. Similar kind of stuffs I can able to search from the table. I want to see particular data from the table. So where the data is located. So indexing will be helping us out. I'll not be directly checking the data by, a particular row number over there, for which row number it's getting stored for a particular data and all. I just create the indexing on particular columns, especially maybe some joining keys based on, we are doing joins based on some common keys I mentioned. So I can convert the indexing. Indexing can be done on top of a particular column on top of table. Maybe a particular column, maybe more than one column. Okay. So if we just, but that particular column should be, very useful for the table. Maybe I mentioned that we are sorting the table based on this column. Maybe the column is primary key of this table. Maybe the column, maybe we are joining two tables on top of these columns. So for this kind of scenarios, we can declare those columns as part of the indexing of the table. Okay, so if we just go to, let's select on top of a table. I'm just selecting top of a table, maybe on top of employee. Just click on this, just select table inspector. All the metadata information related to this table, where the table is getting stored in which format. So I have installed my MySQL database over here in this location. So in this location, the particular table is being stored with this file name. In the backend, it's a file only, employee.ibd. This is InnoDB engine that I mentioned over here. So this is the file format for this database. For other database, it should be a different file format. That is fine. I just want to show you. This is all column related information. There it is called index. If you want to create a new index, just choose the particular column you want to have the index for this particular table. Suppose I want to set employee ID as the index, employee first name as well, employee last name. No, employee first name last name is not good one. Employee department and employee ID. So let's select this particular columns you want to index and just click on create index. Okay, they're also showing once, they're just trying to have the confirmation from our side whether this should be the columns for indexing. Yes, so I'm creating the index. So index are creating now. It should take some time over here. Sometimes it also got hanged. Yeah, generally it is. We can also do the indexing stuff by our, scripts. So create index names on top of a particular table. This kind of command I can also create on top of an existing table. Okay. And even we can also do by this UI. But if we are just doing this thing UI, this kind of slowness you can see over here. Sometimes it got stuck. Yeah, it's really got stuck. Give me some
Yeah.
second.
Okay. How is weather in Kolkata today?
Yeah, it's actually it's the monsoon season over here, as you know. But
Very humid,
today
huh?
it's
Very humid.
very humid. Today it's a bit sunny. Today,
Mm.
here it's, I mean, in India it's Independence Day. So
Oh
some
yes,
celebration.
yeah. 15th of August. True. You have a day off, right?
Yeah, yeah. Today I have a day off.
Oh, nice, nice.
So some, I mean, celebration should be there in every locations. I mean, maybe our clubs per
Mhm.
year. I mean, maybe in our residence itself. I mean here. I mean, we are hosting the flags and all this kind of some songs of patriotism and this kind of
Uh,
stuff. I think you are aware of this thing, correct? I
yeah,
mean,
I'm aware. I miss those days. Like here, it doesn't feel like there is. Something like 15th of August. Here it's like 4th of July, the
yeah, 4th July is
Independence
the
Day of
Independence Day.
USA.
Correct.
Actually, I do. I also do miss the days when I used to live in Kolkata.
Mhm.
Uh, I used to like I even now like I miss sometimes, eating that singara.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. You don't get it here. It's a regular samosa, like the one you find in other parts of India. But the
Yeah, it's
singara,
called samosa. Yeah.
yeah, singara you don't find it here. Like they have this like brown and black filling inside singara.
Yeah, yeah. I just close the window, okay, over here.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
getting stuck, so I just trying to relogging. So I'm inside the database again. Okay, okay. So on top of employee table, let's see whether it's created or not. Create table inspector indexing. Okay, why it's coming? Yeah. Okay, you can see the index has been created on top of table. This is the name of this index. Over there, if we just select this, we can also check the index over here. For these two columns, indexing has been created. So just to let you know, I mean, if we have the index available on top of a table, so while firing the SQL queries or anything, it should be much more faster. I mean, very,
Mm.
very fast. I mean, it's significantly very fast. I mean, so that this kind of issue you were facing earlier while selecting the data on top of, thousands or more than 1 billion of records, it is throwing an error or timeout issue. So after indexing, it will not throw that issue. Okay. So we have triggers, we have foreign keys mentioned over here, lots of partitions, grants. As I am the owner of this database, even you are the owner of your own database in your own local machine. So you can see who is granting. Myself is having all the permissions over here and all. Root is the
Mm.
main thing. Root is the admin of this database. So root is having all the privileges. Why?
Okay.
But the local host MySQL, when there is another user, there is no privilege. Only select statement privilege is there. I have another one user with my name. I provide all the privileges to myself. Okay. The DDL of the table is there. So all the metadata means the data the backend data or audit related data behind the backend, backend the table, behind the table is the metadata information. Okay. All the thing I can get it. What is the size of the file? I can get it. Okay.
Okay.
So this is how we can create the index and how index should work. And this is very, very useful when we are in advanced stages.
Mm.
Okay. Especially solving the big data solution. So we are storing the tables, but we are not able to utilize the table because we even do not able to open the particular table because of this slowness and all. So there we can use this. Okay, moving to the next topic, that is solving that exercise. Okay,
Okay.
so I think I provide this exercise to you, SQL exercise 1. Okay, let's solve the first exercise today.
Please find
Uh,
in below Excel solution. Okay.
Okay, I'm just doing this thing. You can also take a note, or you can also give me suggestion if you have any better idea. So this is the entire data set I am having with myself. So what is the question? Please find. Okay, uh, let's solve question number 1 over here. It should take some time. Let's solve
Okay.
one by one. Create table based on each subject area. This is my first thing. I'm opening the data set here. It's 3 different subject areas, 3 different subject. Okay, what is the data is about? This is as per the data you can see, some student name is there, their class roll number is there. In a particular subject called mathematics, they're receiving some marks. It's
Okay.
obviously out of 100. Okay. Another tab, it's having the same kind of student. You can match the student name. Student names are matching for each of the data set. Just only thing it's not matching. Student name, class, roll numbers, those are matching. Only things which is not matching, it's subject and their marks. Okay. So frankly, we can tell over here. So we are storing each subject marks for 10 students in individual sheets over here. That's it.
Hmm.
So what I have to do, the next statement. Okay, I have to create tables based on each of the subject. Let's create the table based on each of the subject. So there should be 3 different tables. Okay, how to create the table? It should be DDL. Let me fire some DDL query, or let me do this thing in Notepad++. Okay, I'm doing the coding part in Notepad++. At the end
Okay.
of the code, what I can do, I can create a store procedure. Okay, I can create a store procedure and push all those data over there.
Okay.
And we can call the store procedures, and store procedure will execute those things sequentially one by
Hmm.
one. Okay, just let me create a table first. Create table. Okay, in Notepad++, we can change the language to SQL. Then this should be having good color coding so that I can check my error as well. Language, I'm just selecting SQL. You can see the color code has been modified. When we will be writing Python language over here, can just change language to Python. P then Python. Okay. Anything we can do? Okay. Let's go ahead with this exercise. Okay. So I can tell that STD maths. Okay. Let me put student underscore maths. Okay. So create table student maths. What is the data is about? Class, roll number, name. Okay. Class, class is integer data type. Class, then roll number. Let me put roll number. It is also integer in nature. Then name. It should be there. Let me put 40. Subject. Then put 10 or 20. I'm just doing the DDL. It is the same kind of thing at the day 1, whatever we have learned. Okay. Subject and
Okay.
marks. Marks should be integer. Okay. It's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 columns are there. It's fine. I'm just putting a semicolon over here. So while running in the store procedures, while running each of the individual query, I haven't put semicolon at the beginning, but if we put semicolon, it's fine. Actually, it should be a good practice. And when we'll be just want to create multiple statements, then semicolon we need to put just, it should be the end of the particular SQL query. So to show the query editor the same thing, we must have to put a semicolon after ending of each of the SQL query. Okay, so I'm creating similar kind of table for history and science because the table column names are same, but the data is different. Hist, and at the end I'm putting science. Just I'm updating the thing over here. Or rather I can put SCI. Okay. So those are the three tables. The column names are same, so that's why I have put the same structure for each of the table, but the table names are different. So those are all DDLs. Now we just have to insert the data, the similar kind of data we are having over here. So how we can put insert statement? So we know the insert statements and insert into table, then values. So just like this, insert into student maths. Okay, values. Then we have to put all the values. Okay, we can insert multiple rows in a single execution. How to do that? That thing I haven't go ahead with the normal day classes. So it's a bit advanced how to do that. Let's create the insert statement over here. I'm just splitting this thing. It's merged and center. And math should be copied for all the cell. Just I'll be just putting some functions on, I mean concatenation functions, so that it should be helping us with creating the insert statement. Okay. Equal, it's an Excel function just to help me out with a quick command. So insert should be, if we, it should be starting with the brace, not this brace, this brace. Then a this cell, then comma, then this cell, then again a comma. Quote, single quote, because varchar should be wrapped by a single quote. If you can remember, comma, then maths, then again comma, then again this, then again a closing bracket. Okay, so I just want to get this kind of concatenation of string. That's it. I'm just using an Excel function so that I can
Okay.
use this thing for all the rows, and I can see here's my output. Okay, I missed one thing. So each of the lines should be specified by comma. Insert into tables values. So each of the rows should be specific, I mean, separated by comma. This thing I need to mention. Okay, I can do. Okay, last one should not be. I can do this thing here. Okay, the last one should not, because this is the last statement. It should not by comma. So this is nothing but we have used some Excel tricks. Okay, similar kind of stuff should be there for history. Let me just copy this insert into command. Let me do, okay. Let me do one thing. as the query is been pasted over here, let me copy this thing into the sheet, bring margin center, removing this thing. I'm copying this thing over here in the math sheet. I mean, as the formula is placed over here, just for quicker response of cells, with this thing. So this is the output for history. Did you get it? I mean, it's just simple Excel works, nothing more than that.
So whenever like we have to input like so many rows in a SQL, like the people in IT usually they use Excel
Yeah,
and
yeah.
different
Actually,
plus.
there are, yeah, for the basics, I'm telling this thing. But suppose in a Delhi system, okay, we have to load. So we are taking data from a source system and we are pushing the data into a target database. Okay,
Okay.
through ETLs or any other thing, as you are aware of the AWS consoles as well, we are using some ETLs from there, uh, and we are loading the data. So there it's lots of rows. It's not only 10 rows over there. There can be thousands of rows, maybe millions of rows. Suppose I'm just owning a shopping mall. So in each hour, we can get lots of transactions should be there from various outlets. So in each hour, I can see more than 1,000 records have been collected. So maybe in a particular single day, it is more than 1 lakhs records. Okay. So for this thing, 1 lakh records should be pushed from source to target. Here I'm pushing only 10 records. So for that thing, it's not a simple thing of manual execution of insert statement there. For that time of scenario, we need to use ETL tool. That is one of the component in AWS. There are lots of components are available for AWS for doing the ETL operation. Uh, we have what I can say. I have used AWS Glue. I think you are aware of Glue. Correct.
Yes.
So this is one of the ETL tool. We can transfer rows over there. So it's a interface between multiple components. So we can transfer records between multiple components by glue. So similar kind of stuff. There are lots of ETL tools are available in the market. So we have to connect in a source database. So I'm connecting a source database. I'm selecting the query and ETL will transfer the rows from the source database to target database or maybe a source flat file, maybe source Excel file to the target Excel file. We do not have to mention this kind of insert query line by line and all. This is just for generalized purpose as we are beginner to learn how to populate the data inside the tables and all. So for this reason, I'm just providing this exercises over here. Okay, but in practical scenarios, that can be done by ETL tool. Okay, so what is ETL tool and all that we will be gradually learning from, I mean, day after tomorrow, we'll be having the session on top of ETL tool and all. So there we'll be
Okay.
learning what is ETL tool, what is the practical scenario, how the data is getting loaded from the source OLTP system. Just like for a railway booking system, booking counter, they're using a mainframe. There, I mean, if you can see, especially in India, if you can see the people's systems who is reserving the ticket, his system is having mainframe systems, a black screen. So they're entering all the required information and the ticket is getting booked. Okay. So from this mainframe, that data is getting stored in a particular source system table. And while analyzing the data, we will be bringing those records from the source system to a target system. Maybe it can be a AWS Redshift, maybe it can be AWS Aurora Postgres database, maybe any kind of database. I have to push the data. Similar kind of stuff I am doing over here in MySQL. They'll be doing with a different database, maybe, may not be. But this is the scenario, but they will not be transferring the rows individually by this way. There should be dedicated ETL tool to do that thing. So you need to learn the ETL tool as well. That thing will be gradually learning. Maybe
Okay.
next day or day after tomorrow. What is ETL tool and okay. This is simply we are solving an exercise with very less number of rows and with a practical scenario to brush up our SQL languages. Okay. So it's a DML statement we are currently learning. But this particular thing is helping us with the bulk insert. Actually, at the first day, we have just go ahead with the insert statement. It's a DML. And we have gone through with a single execution with a single statement. But at a time, we have insert only one row. Okay. But over here, we can go ahead with multiple row execution or insertion by this way. After values, we can put each of the records within first bracket, putting a comma separated with the second row. This is my second row. This is my third row. The last row should not be, we should not be having comma for the last row. Okay. So this thing we can do for the third table as well. It's repetitive work. So I'll be doing in the same manner. The table column name is SCI. Sorry, table name is SCI. I'll be doing the same thing over here too. Science. Let's copy this data. But please let me know if it's understandable or not understandable. Any comments or anything, you can quickly ask me
Okay.
question. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just copying and pasting it over here and dragging the same formula so that I can get the similar kind of logic for science subject. Okay, I received the science subject. Yes, so this is for maths, history, science. It's perfect. So those are all insert statements. So my DML has been covered. These are the DDL. We have created the tables. We haven't
Yeah.
created. We just put the command over here. I haven't executed it. I'll be executing all the things within a store procedures. Okay. This is my insert command. That means the DML. After that, okay, the first step has been completed. What is the second step? Merge all the tables and keep it in a separate table. So I have to merge all the table and keep it a separate table. We have three different
Okay.
tables. I want to merge the data means suppose what should I do actually? Can you just suggest me path? My requirement is to merge all the data into a single data set.
Okay. And
What operation I should have to do? So that in a single table I can get mathematics information, history information, science information from all the student. So I can use union operation.
oh yes,
If you can
union.
remember
Yes,
union.
yes, union operation.
So just I'm doing a DQL statement now. Select star from this union means I'll be just merging all the records. Select star from this union. Select star from student science. Okay, so I'm just union. I'm doing a union between all the three tables. This is the union keyword in between. Okay, this is the DQL statement. I can see the data in union, but I need to create a new table based on this data. As you can see, merge all the tables and keep it in a separate table. So I need to create on top of this table. This thing I have mentioned, this thing, creation of a particular table from another data set. How to do that? Just put the create statement, create table, put a data set name, table name, just like student all subject SUBJ. Okay, as this data set, create table name as, then the entire SQL that I'm pushing. This thing I have mentioned, creation of a backup table. How to create a backup table? That day I have mentioned this trick. But I forgot one thing. I have to put semicolon at the end for each of the statement. For insert statement, this is the end. So I'm putting semicolon for this insert statement. This is the end. This is the end for this insert statement. Yes, and for this create statement, this is the statement. So till now I have covered this thing. Okay, let's copy this thing and create a store procedures. I can see no this kind of table is there. I mean student SCI. No table with this naming convention is there. So let's create a store procedure. Right click on this, create store procedure. So this is the particular store procedure. I'll be giving a name over here. Let's put the code. Okay, whatever code I have written in the Notepad++, I just copied and pasted it over here. Create table name. All the DDLs are there, then all the DMLs are there. After that, I'm merging the thing over here by this statement. Merging all the tables into a single tables. This is the final table. Okay, just I'm updating the store procedures name with a different name. Suppose exam result. Okay, so this is my store procedure name, exam result. I'm applying it. Yes, it's created. Finish it. Exam result. It's a new store procedures. It's created. I'm just eliminating this window. This is my main query window. So I can do two things. I can just do my procedure is created. If I run this procedure, all the statements inside the procedures will be executed. Okay, I can do this thing by this way. Just I can do this procedure call over here, or I can do one more thing. Just put a call statement, then put the procedure's name. And after that, put open brace and close brace. Okay, just simply run it. It's having an issue. Unknown column maths in field list. Okay, we have some issue. Let's see what is the issue. Unknown column maths. Where is maths column? Where is the maths column? Let me search it. Control F, maths. Yeah, it's a table name. Table name is fine. Okay. I haven't put, okay, there's a mistake over here. I have wrapped this thing in quote. This is also a string. Maths is a string. So this is a
Yes, so
data.
it
I need
also
to
that
put,
also has to be in a quote, single quote.
correct. Exactly. So I can update this thing. Maths is in D24. So let me try it over here if it is fine. Otherwise, I have to put this thing manually. Okay, one more thing. So it should be this, comma, comma. Let me put an enter. No, it's did not update. D2. I just updated it. Let me do it one more time. Just I'm adding one more code. Yes, it's been successfully done. Okay, let me do this thing for everything. Yeah, it's done. Let me copy this thing for my, okay. It's fine. The same thing should be there for history. Same thing for science. Okay, I can do a copy and find and replace over here as well. It should be much more faster. Okay, let's do this. It's fine. I'm just copying this thing in the DML statement. So this kind of error we can get in our practical scenarios as well. So this is very silly mistake, but we need to be attentive. This is my fault,
Okay.
but this can be one of the thing we can find. Okay, alter store procedures. I'm clicking alter store procedures. I'm updating this thing. Applying it. Apply. Yeah, it's done. Let's call the same store procedures once more time. Again. Okay. So at the beginning we have executed. Just give me 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. So at the beginning, when we have got the issue there, the table has been executed first. This table is already executed. We got the error in this statement. Now I call the same store procedures and it's throwing the same error. Why the error has been thrown? The table is already exists. So when it's running these statements, it's got the failure. So I'm just quickly dropping the tables. Drop table. Each of the table I'm dropping. You can see the table has been created. Yes. History I'm dropping. Then science I'm dropping. Then maths I'm dropping. Okay. So the tables are cleaned. Let me call the store procedure once more time. Yes, the store procedure is completed. You can see 27 rows are affected. Let me run and just check the result. Final result is there or not. Yes, this is my final table student all subject. Let me just put a select query to check the data. So you can see only a single store procedures can help with this all statement execution. 3 DDL, 3 DML, and in the last one more DDL is there to populate this table. Okay, so this is the final data set, the student all subject. With there, you can see the data. So first maths, then history, then science. Okay. Okay. Now, what is the next question? Find out the total number of each of the candidate with aggregation function. So we need to use an aggregation function. Total number of each candidate. Okay, we just need to check the candidate's number. So that I want to check from each of the data set in the margin data set, what is the frequency of each of the student? It should be 3 because we are storing all the information for each of the student. Let me just show you. I will be using count operation, count 1, comma, name. It's an aggregation function. Group by clause should be there. Group by on top of name. And I'm just determining their count in the data set. So I can see each of the name, it's having 3 occurrence in the database. Okay. So this is the thing actually I want to mean over here. So each of the student. So I just want to see if any student did not I missed the exam or did not avail the exam. But over here I can see all the students. I mean there are actually 3 subject areas. All the 10 students and appear. for each of the subjects. Okay, so this is the first thing. The next thing is find out the average marks of each subject with aggregation marks. I want to check the performance of the teacher now. I want to check the average marks of each of the subject. So this is my subject, so it should be grouped by subject. Count. I mean, it should not be count, it should be average marks. Aggregation should be average, ABG, marks, and name should not be there, subject should be here. That thing we have learned in group by clause or aggregation clause. Okay, so I can find this is the average marks for each of the, I mean, for all the students. This is the average marks. Okay, maths, history, science. So by this thing, I can, analyze the performance of the subjects, maybe the performance of the teachers as well. So I can see mathematics, it's not a good marks actually, comparing to science. Even we know that the mathematics is having the capability of getting larger marks. Okay, so we can see. Then as per the headmasters or principal, I can talk with my teacher with some changing of the methodology and all. Okay, so this kind of analysis we can do based on top of data set. Okay, so we solved these two exercise as well, 3 and 4. This is clear to you, Parth? Parth, is this clear for you?
Yes.
Okay. So another day I'll be trying to solve it, but I have provided this thing to you. You try to solve it. I'll be checking
Do you
later.
want to, yeah, do you want to like see the error which I was having?
Yeah. I'll be just checking this thing. Let me stop my screen sharing as well as the recording. Just give me.
Okay.